Hi, this is the help video for Access Chapter 3 ProblemSolve1, the Terrell Resource Events database. So I have already downloaded the instructions and the database, and so I am done with step number 1 here. Step number 2, changing the appearance of a table in Datasheet view can make it easier to view. Open Table Contact, increase the font size to 14. So all we're going to do, I'm on the Home tab. Let's make this 14. It's going to make everything bigger. Change the alternate row color to orange, accent to lighter 60. So I'm going to come over in the Home tab, all the way over here in text formatting. I want to find the little alternate row, and then orange, accent to, no, that's gold. Orange accent 2, lighter 60, so that's the second one down here. Let's make sure, yep. And then we get every other one. I'm going to do the all and then double click just to auto fit. Step 2 is done. We're going to save and close that table. So when we go back in, it's going to continue to have that look. All right, filters can be used to easily locate records that meet specific criteria in Datasheet view. Oh, I guess I should have stayed in there. Okay. Create a filter. Oh, that orange is very hard. Okay, create a filter should show only the contacts who have a state of Ohio. So one of the easiest ways, I swear I did this. Why is that not showing? Okay. So state, there's a couple different ways, but we'll do text filter equals OH. And there it is. So I'm going to show you a different way. I'm going to clear that. So if I picked state here, and I did the little drop down, I could unselect everything and then just find Ohio and click on it. It gets me to the same thing, right? It's just, it literally is the same thing. It's just two different ways of getting there. Okay, save and close. All right, so 3 is done. 4, Beth would like to know if there are any dates that have multiple events booked. Using the query wizard, create a find duplicates query that will show all events on the same date. So we're going to begin by doing a wizard this time, right? That's where we go to find the duplicates. Remember duplicates and unmatched? So create a find unmatched query. Nope, I did back. In query wizard duplicates, we're going to use the event table, right? So which fields might contain duplicates? Well, that's going to be date, right? And then what other fields do we want? Well, she wants all the fields. So we're going to click that. And then we're going to save it as query dupe dates. And I put date, not dates, so I have to change that. So there's one date, New Year's Day, that has 2 events on it. So I'm going to save this and close it, and then I'm going to rename this query because I left off, where are we at? Dates. I need to put an S on the end. So I just did a right click and a rename. So we're done with step 4. Step 5. Step 5. Beth would like a list of contacts who have never attended an event. Using the query wizard, find unmatched queries. So create query wizard unmatched. So we're going to look for contacts that all events, so we're going to, contact is where they exist. contact event is where we want to see if they don't exist. It's on contact ID, so that's good. And then she wants contact ID, first name, last name, address, city, state, and zip. That's going to be called QRY, contact, no event, finish. I'm going to go to design view and add in, I must sort the query by last name and then by first name. So how is that going to be possible, right? Because its first name comes first. So I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to bring last name in here again, and I'm going to put it in front. I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to sort by it. So let's run it and see. So we get it by last name, very good, within last name by first name, which we don't have any dupes, so it's hard to tell. Last name and then first name. I'm going to save that. Let's go back and look at that. So because last name and first name, because the order was first name, last name, but we want it sorted last name and then first. So we had to add last name again and then unshow it. So we can just use it to sort. Okay, so that's 5. 6. Using a query design, create a query that will return the contact's last name, first name, total guess, event name, and event date. So we have to figure out where that stuff is, right? So one of the ways to do it is the easiest way is to look at your relationships. And let's look where this data is and where the relationships exist. So contact, first name, last name. So that's in contacts. Total guess is in contact event. Event name is over here. And event date is over here. So I'm going to have to pull all 3 of my tables. And the only way that I knew that is by looking at the data. So we're going to create in design view, and we're going to add these 3 tables. I'm going to do my little bit of housekeeping here and open these up. And I'm going to pull my grid up. And then I'm going to start putting in contact ID, first name, last name, address. Oops. I was looking at the wrong query. Let's start over. I was looking at 5. Let's do 6 here. Last name, first name, total guess, event name, event date. Sort the query by event date in descending order, and then by last name. So I need to put last name in there again. Don't show it, but sort by it. Last name. So let's run it and see. So descending by event date, good. Then within a date by last name. So that is correct. That is correct. But see, it's not really sorting on this one. It's sorting on that hidden one. Okay, so we're going to just do that. We're going to save this as QRY event details, and then we're not actually done with it yet. So name it and then run it, which we got it. Add a total row. So while I'm in Datasheet view, I'm going to click on totals. It's going to put the total row there, and then show the total number of guests. So I can just come here and I could do a count, and there's 30 guests. So that works. So I'm going to save that, close that, and I am done with that. All right, step number 7. Open the query num of events by type. This query is supposed to show each event type only once along with the number of events. Switch to design view and fix it. So what I can tell here is the total row both have groups and no calculation. So this query is supposed to show each group once, so that event type is good, and the number of events. So really, we want this to be a count, right? 1, 2, 3, the number. So there we go. Each event is once, and how many of that type. We're going to save it, run it, adjust the columns, save it again, close it, and we're done with 7. Number 8, using query design, create a query that will calculate the total number of paid guests for each event type. Use the sum aggregate function on the total guest field and name it total of guests. Be sure your query only displays those contacts that have paid the entry fee. So let's find out where the heck that information's at. So let's look at relationships again. That's where I tend to go just to see my data. So what do we want? We want event type. So that's where? That's here. Total number of guests, which we're going to calculate. Sort by total number of guests. Name the query. Okay. So somehow we need to get here, total guests. So if I look at this, total guests, and then we only want those that have paid the entry fee. We need 2 tables, create in query design, because we need event type, that's in event, and then we want the total guess, that's in here, right? So that has the fields that we need. I'm going to add the totals in here, and I'm going to put event type, and that's a group by. So all I would get would be each event type one time. I sum and run it. And the reason that we want the sum is, even though it's saying total, like you might think a count, but we actually want to take the contents of total guests and sum it. So a 4 and 2 and add those up. But now we're not really quite done yet, because this is all of our guests, right? But be sure it only displays contacts that have paid. So I'm going to put paid in here, and if I run it, right, so it breaks it out. See, there's so what I want to do here is I want to filter it to, we want those that said yes, right? So I can run it. So now we only get the totals for those people that have paid it, but I don't really want to see that. So I'm going to take that away. And I don't take it away till I'm done, because I always want to check and see that it's working, right? And so by leaving that on, I can see that I only have the check marks. So then I take it away, and I still get the same numbers, and I know it's good. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. It's going to be QRY total paid guess by type, and we're good. So we could close that one up. That was a little complicated to think through. All right, so we're going to close that query. All right, number 9. Using query design, create a query to calculate the total amount of entry fees that have been collected for each event that took place in 2020. Include event name, event date, event type, entry fee per guest, total guests, and paid fees. So once again, I need to come up here and see where all that data is at. So event name here, event date here. So we know we have to bring in table event. Entry fee, that's in there. Okay, total guests and paid. So I need these two tables, contact in event and event. So let's start our query in design. We want event and contact in event. So then we can do our little bit of housekeeping. I don't think it goes down much, and there we go. Okay. Use the sum aggregate, no, down here, Helen. So number 9 is, okay, so number 9, use query design, create a query to calculate the total amount of entry fees that have been collected for each event that took place in the year 2022. Include event name, event date, event type, entry fee, total guests, and paid fields. So let's start off with that, the stuff that we know. Query design. So we want 2 tables. We've got table contact in event and event. That has the fields that we need for this. And then we're going to come in the grid and we're going to just pop some stuff down here. Event name, event date, event type, entry fee per guest, total guests, and then we need a calculated field. Let's see, event name, event date, event type, I forgot again, event type, event name, event date, event type, entry fee per guest, total guests. Then we want a calculated field that's going to give me the total. So what we want to calculate there is fee times how many. So the name of the new field is called total entry fees, colon, because remember, left of the colon is the name, right is the calculation. And so I want entry fee per guest in square brackets times square bracket total guests square brackets. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do OK, and I'm going to run this. So what we need is we need to limit this to just 2022, right? The year 2022. So under event date, I'm just going to put asterisk 2022 and then tab. It puts in the like, so now I'm going to run it. Okay, so that's cool, but we're not there yet. So now we have it down to just 2022, but do not show the paid field, but let's see, that have been collected. So that means we have to put paid in here, and we're gonna if I just leave paid in there and run it, look, so we have some that haven't been paid, so we haven't collected it yet. So we have to come in here and say yes. I leave it showing for now. I can validate, yes, okay, it's only looking at those that have been paid. Now I can take that away and run it. And we have our 17 records. So this one definitely you need to think through it, right? So we're going to adjust. We're going to save it as QRY total paid entry fees 2022. And one of the things is break this down. It's very overwhelming when you start looking at everything, but it's got the information here you need, and you need to think it through and do it step by step. All right, so that's number 9. We've got one more query. Using query design, create a query that will return the contact ID, first name, last name, and state, as well as event name, event date, event type, and status. So one of the things that we need to know here is what tables do we need? And we actually need all 3 tables. If we went and looked at our relationships, we're going to see that it's all 3. So I'm going to do create, query design, tables, double click on every one of those. We're going to just bring this down, 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 bring this up, and then let's take a look at it. So contact ID, first name, last name, state, as well as event name. See, this is why I had to put this, because there's no direct relationship between contact and event. It's only contact in event. So that's one of the reasons we had to bring all 3. Event, let's see, we did event name, event date, event type, and then status is over here. Okay, so if I run this, we're going to get 30 records. It's just going to have each contact and the events, but I don't think that's all we want, right? So we have this part. It says apply the necessary criteria so that only contacts from Ohio. So we're going to come here and we're going to just type OH, right? So let's run it again. There we're down to just Ohio, who have registered for an event with the plant tour, right? So we got to come over here for event type and type plant tour, and that have registered, right? So if we run this, right, it says registered. So we're going to say registered. So that's this first criteria, and it's all on the same row because it's an and. It has to be from Ohio, who have picked plant tour and have already registered. So then any contact from any state that's not Ohio, so not equal to, so that's the less than greater than sign, OH. And then any state who have registered of other and have registered, right? So these are 2 ors. So for Ohio, we're only looking for registered plant tours. All other states but Ohio, we're looking for other that are registered. Let's run it and let's just check. Other, good, registered. And then so there's the one Ohio. Let's go back. Sort in ascending order by last name, and then by first name. So I'm going to put first name in here again, and I'm going to sort it and not show it. So last name, and then sorted within last name by first name. And we had to do it because, see, first name comes before. So if I sort it on this one, it's going to sort by first name. So you always have to think about the order that your sort is running in. So I'm going to save that. It's going to be called QRY select registrants. And I think that is good. So we're going to save, close. We're done with 10, and you can submit it for grade. Thank you.